So would you believe me if I said these were being produced before the red pair? What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sneaker Circle. It's your boy Danny, back with another review, another video. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking me out. In today's video, we are going to take a look at the second iteration of the Air Max 1 with Nike's .swoosh program. .swoosh here. Very blue box shows you what these are going to be, and then the first pair being these right here. Now, if you saw my video on these, you know I wasn't the biggest fan. I don't really like the material used on these. I thought the overall final product for the wait time and for the price could have been a bit better. I feel like Nike answered all those things with this pair. These are easily the best inclusion yet, and what we've seen leaked from the brand so far looks even more promising. So before I get these out the box, if you're new to the channel, please feel free to like the video, comment, let me know what you think about these or the previous pair or the future pairs, and sub if you like the video. Let's go ahead and get these out the box. All right, out the box. This is the second version of the low poly from the .swoosh program. These are being dubbed Adventure, and everything that has to do with the release on these matches that theme to a T. These are technically the first release. So quick release details for those who want to know. These released in February. These released October 2024. These were a pre-order that still sold out. Took 120 days to touch down for most people. I luckily got them in 110 days. These were first come, first serve, whole virtual experience that Nike and .swoosh laid out for its rollout. These are an original color based on a retro game that exists. Tomb Raider, very on theme with the retro gaming. If anything, is one of the iconic games from the 90s. And this color blocking is supposed to mimic her character design. And what's really crazy is that looking at the production dates of these versus these had a production date of August 2024 until November 2024. So there were a decent amount of pairs that were being made for these, while these, on the other hand, being a pre-order, only have a production date of 10/16 to 10/24. So only a month in October now. That might be just this pair since it was a pre-order. I would love to see other people's pairs. Maybe they have different production dates. Maybe it was like done in cycles. So it really did take the 110 days to finalize the amount of shoes they made versus just having a big lump sum here. So here you see that August to November, roughly a 3-month production date. I could see these having the same thing and maybe inventory finishing late December, early January. So yeah, these were definitely in Nike's pipeline for a while. I'm kind of glad they went with this, an adventure theme, a retro gaming theme, versus just a retro of a classic colorway. Since this whole program draws its inspiration from retro gaming, so the entire upper being that blocky 8-bit style, it makes sense that we see themed shoes from classic games. So we have these allegedly inspired by Tomb Raider. We have another pair allegedly inspired by Donkey Kong. You will not see any other branding on these shoes, especially Nintendo. Nintendo would not allow that. And what's really cool is that with the rollout of these, they adapted that Tomb Raider style gaming experience for this release. All right, so getting into the shoe, in terms of colorways, it's just the same color blocking as these. I can even say the grays are pretty similar. If anything, these are a little bit darker. The biggest difference on these is the choice of materials. So those had a felt material, which I was not a big fan of. These actually feature a type of nubuck, and it's actually a brushable nubuck. So it's not as synthetic feeling or synthetic at all. I really think this is a really nice nubuck that they're using on the sneaker. You could potentially find this type of nubuck on higher end $200 Jordans. And that's both for this part and this part right here. So on this pair, everything is that felt. So it's more synthetic feeling. It's not as smooth. I'm not a big fan of these, but these, a lot better. So the upper has this polyurethane mesh over here, as well as a really tight mesh that goes here. We have that 8-bit blocking pattern, just like the first pair. You do have it on the nubuck, but it's not printed as well. I think you see it a little bit better right here on the swoosh. Everything comes in a jagged edge, just like the first pair. It's supposed to mimic 8-bit styling. So if you grab an Air Max 1 and you make it look like a retro game, an 8-bit game, this is apparently what they'd look like. And the patterns are not random, so every single pair will have that same gradient running across. Here we have that same turquoise blue on the Nike Air. I'm telling you, it's a really clean color in person, and it straight up looks like Lara Croft. And then you get this gum sole on the bottom. This is actually her khaki shorts. And one big gripe I had on those over there is that when you throw them on, it would crease horrendously. I've already thrown these on. They won't crease for just existing on your foot, and I really appreciate that. Besides material and besides construction, these shoes are fantastic. Here we have the little mini swoosh detail right here. Everything's pretty clean on these. Everything that was good about the first pair is tremendous on this pair, even though it's technically the same tooling and same concept. So both pairs are exclusive to Dot Swoosh. This one specifically is a combination of Dot Swoosh and sneakers. I think they're both just gonna exist together. $160. These retailed at $150. But what's really weird is Nike refunded me $10. So these were supposed to be $150, which, I mean, in the last video, I was saying if they would have gave me better materials on that one and charged me $10 more, I would have been happy. So at $160, I thought these were completely fine. And the way these released, this might be very helpful for future releases, especially that DK release themed one that's coming out. These released via a series of clues and a game. So I was lucky enough to be by my computer on release. I was able to be on Dot Swoosh for 3 days before the release. So 2 days before the release, and then on the 3rd day of the release, they were giving out these clues. The clues featured these right here. It was 3 questions or 3 riddles you had to solve. And then on the day of the release, you could go on the Air Max Lab portion of their site, play the digital game, very similar to what they did with this pair right here, except they added an additional level to it where you can go into this almost cave-like door. And there on release, you had to answer a series of questions. Once you answered all 3 of the riddles right, gave those 3 correct answers, you got a QR code. This is the part that messed up a lot of people, because if you were doing it on mobile, you had no real way to scan that code. And if you would have found them on sneakers without having that QR code, they would just load sold out. So a lot of people saw them sold out as soon as they dropped, and they had no real understanding why. So on Dot Swoosh, by completing those steps, by getting that QR code, you were granted exclusive access on your sneakers account. And it lasted quite a bit, because I feel like a lot of people were struggling to really get to that point. Once the methods were like tweeted out there and people really understood how to do it, they sold out pretty quick. So if you're really focused on the next pair, the Donkey Kong pair, or if they expand the universe and go like GoldenEye, if they go Sonic, or whatever really floats your boat, if they do it, that's most likely how those releases are going to be. Other little details that we can look at that I really neglected on the other pair is right here on the tongue itself, you have that Nike Air Max in that 8-bit format. But on the back, you also have that E rating for everybody. So here we go, rated E, swoosh for everybody. You have these regular style laces. These would be so much better. One cool little detail that they're making, I guess, exclusive to each shoe is the text on the sole. So right here on this sole, you do have forward, backwards. You have a little cheat code. Yeah, so on this one, you have that same push to start. And then right here, you have, if you made it this far, go touch grass. Which, that's just funny. That to me is funny. These become a little bit cooler because it's kind of dogging me right there. So all in all, second low poly swoosh. I do think these are a massive improvement from the first pair. I love the original tooling on these models as well. So If you look at the tongue right here, just like the 86 pairs, you have two types of meshes. You have this polyurethane, and then you have the same mesh that's on the toe box right there. So it's a nice little detail. Sizing, since I tried both of these on, I do feel like it's a little bit snugger than a traditional Air Max, just by a hair. It might be the tongue, it might be the tooling of the shoe itself. Just runs a little bit more narrow, so just keep that in mind. If you're already wearing your Air Max 1s pretty snug, maybe half size up for these. But if you wear Air Max 1s and you already have a bit of space or a bit of leeway, these will just be a hair snug. All right, so that's gonna leave me at the end of my video. Let me know what you think about these. Let me know if you tried to go for them, if you wanted them. What other colorways or collections would you want to see from this program? Is there a specific game you have in mind? I would love to know. I think a GoldenEye one, a 007 GoldenEye would be insane. And you just have like little bullseyes on the sole. That'd be crazy. I think the way they're doing the Donkey Kong one is fantastic as well. It's not the same, you know, copy and paste model. It's actually a hairy suede, no blocking, and it looks pretty clean. So I'm going to try for those. These gave me hope for the entire program. More hope than these, at least. All right. That's where I'm going to end the video. I'm going to go ahead and throw these on feet. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.